All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm going to call it, what is it? Ooh, this time I'm really not kidding, y'all. Mental fog. I'm going to call it maybe 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter today, and this is Chatter with Statter. And I'm super stoked to see all y'all here because I'm super stoked to be here. For real. We will get into some details about some things and stuff, but Pussycat, I am feeling good, and Leo has also been cited. All right, so my Derby startup. Hey, good to see you. Hi to all of you from my e-bike ride. Oh, sweet. All right, cool. So hey, let's get the party started real like, quick like, as soon as I can figure out how to push the button. All right, so before we get into details, because I'm sure you all have questions, and I certainly have a story, I want to say aloha to Darlene, Michael Anthony Smith. Good to see you. Don't kill the AC too much. Keep yourself cool like a cucumber. Aloha, Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday. Super stoked to see you. Terry in Scotland. Super stoked to see you too. Pussycat already said hi, but how's it again? Let's see here who else we get. We get Devil Food Cake. Can't hang, but get well soon. I am getting better, Devil's Food, so you go do what you gotta do. Hang out as long as you can, but I understand life takes priority over interwebs. And let's see here. We have got Derby Startup, yes indeedly do, from the e-bike ride. And Terry in Scotland is super stoked to see you too. All right, let's see here. Thomas a Turtle, hey, good to see you. And Midnight Frequency Radio, good evening. Glad you're back. I'm glad to be back as well. Okay, so I think that's everybody who has said hello. Let me make sure that my my stuffuses are all looking like they're working. All right, so I cannot promise that this stream is going to last the hour and a half that we usually last. I'm going to give it the best shot, but if I get really spacey or stupid, then we might have some real comedy gold, or I might just call it quits. But we are shooting for the full hour and a half this evening. And Mama Sean, good to see you. All right, so first off, let's get back to the basics. Got myself a LaCroix, Pamplemousse. All right, now we're ready to roll. So, so let's see. I'm super happy to be here because I honestly, on Tuesday, I really and truly was unsure if this stream would be happening for for a while. And hey, Michael Anthony Smith, good. Oh, I didn't think I'd cry, but here I am crying. So Tuesday, yeah, didn't know how soon I was going to be able to be back online, but I have recovered incredibly fast. For those of you who don't know, last Sunday, about 2 hours from now, last Sunday, I had a stroke, and actually, the official diagnosis is a stroke, but it was really more like a series of mini strokes in my experience. Obviously, I haven't had a full-blown stroke versus I haven't done the taste test of full-blown stroke versus a series of mini strokes. I haven't taken that sampler platter yet. But the part of the platter that I have taken, which was my experience on Sunday, I had these episodes for about 24 hours. I have a feeling, well, I guess, I don't know. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Okay, so hey, Michi Mama, so good to see you. So good to see you. Let's see here. So I'm going to be doing a lot of, and do what you feel is okay, but Mrs. A says, no matter what happened, your hair has never looked better. Okay, for real, Mrs. Okay, now we're talking about something I want to talk about. My hair. No, for real, Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday, check this out. On Saturday night, not last night, but the night, like Saturday night, I washed my hair and I used my this thing. It's a hairbrush, and the brand of hairbrush is called a Denman hairbrush. It's a Denman brand hairbrush, and they're made specifically for curling hair. So for the first time in a really long time, I used my Denman brush, and I got some pretty good looking curls, and I was getting my curls all ready for the Tumua. Wow, I used to know how to say his name. The Tumua comedy show I was going to on Sunday. In fact, pardon me, here's what my curls were looking like outside. I was front row, as you can see. I did not want Tumua to contact me, to crowd interact with me, and luckily he did not. But anyway, I did want my curls to look kind of good. And so they looked okay, a little bit frizzy, whatever. I haven't actually washed my hair since then. I've actually brushed my hair out a couple times, and every time I brush my hair out, I'm like, oh my God, I look like a 1940s movie star with this hair. So I'm planning on finally washing it today, but yeah, I have actually been having a series of very good hair days. And I'm very happy to take that as a win from last weekend, because last weekend was a rough one. Yeah, and you've had Bell's palsy strokes before. It's hard on your memory, so take it easy. Yeah, Pussycat, I'm glad to hear that, because I've been making some really silly, thoughtless, sort of space cadet-y mistakes, but I am forgiving myself for it. But I really do think that, I do know we all know that words are jarred, right? Words are already super hard sometimes. They're even harder now. I'll trail dust, aloha! Good to see you. I like that, aloha! And yeah, dirty hair sometimes is better than fresh hair. It really does do its thing better. Only girls know this, I think, but maybe boys have good hair days or worry about their hair days. Anyway, so I was having a fairly good hair day, but I will say this. Went to the Tumua show, great show. He's super funny. However, two things. If you don't like his online crowd work skits, and you're just just do the comedy, dude, I don't really care about the crowd work, you probably won't enjoy his show. His show is really, literally about half of it is crowd work. It's incredibly crowd work heavy. It's funny. Absolutely. I enjoy crowd work. But I know that some comedy fans don't. And so if you don't like that kind of comedy, then by all means, you can just skip Tumua's show, because about half of it is crowd work. Now, the other thing I want to say is, if you are going to drag somebody to this show that is unfamiliar with Hawaii Island culture, they are not going to think it's a funny show. They're not going to get it at all. They're not going to get. In fact, they'll probably look around at the crowd and just be like, you guys are a bunch of racist murmurs. Wow. Look at you all making fun and saying all the racial jokes that you are not allowed to say these days. So you So, it's just, don't take a truly sensitive light bright, I mean, I admit, because I was one of the light brights in the audience, shall I say. And I find it funny as long as I'm not the crowd that's being worked. Well, it's so funny you should say that, Mr. and Mrs. Aloha, because one of the jokes, and I can't, forgive me, I can't even remember what the setup was, but basically Tumua was going through almost every single race that's on the island. And then he sort of, the joke sort of seemed to end, and then from the crowd, this guy's like, what about tomorrow? And he's just like, and so then it was just so dude was kind of offended that his racial group wasn't included. And so actually on the flippin' spot, dude, Tumua, came up, because he's good with his crowd work, came up with a joke for that. And then he looked at the dude. He's like, all right, man, I'm gonna add that to, I'm gonna add that to my bit. And so he literally, like, the crowd literally helped him, create another joke to make the joke bigger. Yeah, the Guamanians. For those of you who don't know what a Chamorro is, it's Guamanians. Yeah. And so basically, he and there were a couple, like, white dudes or whatever. This one guy, wore a, Howley shirt or whatever, but he was born on the islands, lived on the islands, this, that, and the other thing. But he was, he was making fun of his local Howley status. And so he obviously wanted to get picked on, I think, and he did, so luckily a lot of the people in the crowd knew what to expect and were looking forward to the crowd work. Some of them, I think, hoping that they would be part of it. I'm really glad I wasn't that day, because I was feeling, even from the night before, I was feeling this weird, I thought it was lightheadedness, but in retrospect, it wasn't really the same thing as lightheadedness. And now that I think about it, it was more like a balloon-headed feeling. And by balloon-headed feeling, I don't mean like pressure blowing my head out. It just sort of felt like a floaty-headed feeling, slightly disconnected from reality. And I chalked that up to not having eaten a lot. And when I got to the show, I was feeling that way again. But I chalked it up to not having eaten yet. So anyway, watch the show, go to the shows. The show, by the way, here, once again, you can see behind me, this show is at the Clearwater Casino in Suquamish. It's on the Suquamish Indian Reservation. The Suquamish Indian Reservation is where Chief Sealth is laid to rest. It's not in King County. It's not near Seattle. It's in Kitsap County, North Kitsap. Kitsap County is where I grew up. And so I took the day to, and it was an afternoon show that started at 3. So I took the day, and, we have really late nights, sunset. So I planned on taking the day to take my time when I was up there. I got there on time. It felt a little spacey, whatever, but left the show in a great mood. And then I went down through, I drove down through to my hometown. I was feeling really, really weird, and I was like, okay, I need to stop and eat something. So I stopped and I ate something, and I thought I was feeling better. So then I drove through my old neighborhood and then took the scenic route out of town. By the time I was getting out of town, I felt like my eyeglasses just couldn't get clean enough. They would just sort of felt like they were constantly in a state of smudge. However, it was also that time of day when the lighting, the sun is going down and the angle of the light is just wrong when you're driving. And so I was chalking all this eye stuff up to that. Continued driving out of town. But then I got out of town. And I'm not yet to Tacoma. I have not yet crossed the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. I'm on a 2-lane highway, 2 lanes each direction, and sometimes that highway can be really packed, but luckily this time it was not. So I'm driving down, and suddenly, I've got my hands on the wheel, and suddenly my left hand feels like it just wants to let go. Just pull down, wants to let go. And so I kept consciously squeezing the wheel to keep my hand on it. And it wasn't, and at first I thought it was like, pins and needles when your arm gets asleep, and your arm sometimes is useless when it gets asleep. I thought it was that at first. But it kept getting worse, and it wasn't that. And so I was like, okay, I need to pull off I need to get off, I'm doing 60 miles an hour on the highway. So I need to get off the highway. And luckily, an exit was just right up. And so I pulled off the exit. I went down the off ramp, But by that time, I drive a clutch car, right? So by that time, my left leg was not really happy either. And so I stalled the car out at the end of the off-ramp because I couldn't work the clutch fast enough with the brake and everything. I eventually got my left leg to work the clutch enough to get the car started again. And luckily, the street that I pulled off on was a very rural road, two-lane road with a huge shoulder. So I just pulled right off to the shoulder. And so at this point, I'm like, maybe I should just wait this out. And then I'm like, well, I don't really know if even if I wait this out, maybe I shouldn't be driving. So maybe I need to have somebody come pick me up. And so I'm like, well, if I have somebody come pick me up, what am I going to do with my car? And who am I going to have come pick me up? Because nobody I know lives close to here. It's all going to be like over an hour before somebody can get to me, you know? And so then I was like, well, why don't I Google, for real, y'all, why don't I Google what can't use left arm means? Now, so I started to try to do that. However, now I've got a side story. I have recurring, what I refer to as stress dreams. I will now refer to them as nightmares, but prior to this, I have had for many years recurring stress dreams where I need to use my phone for whatever reason. It's usually to call my mom in the dream. And I can't remember her phone number. I can't get the phone to work. The numbers keep disappearing. The numbers that I try to press aren't going through. Like these are stress dreams. Those stress dreams were literally coming to life in my very hands in real time. I couldn't hold my phone with my left hand to type with my right. So I had to hold my phone with my right hand, but I can't use my left hand. So trying to look things up was a masterclass in coordination. Google told me to call 911 right away, so I did. And by that point, I was feeling like my face was on Novocaine, and my tongue was really thick, and I was trying to, it took all my effort to say, I'm having a medical emergency. You know, where are you? Where are you? Great question, 911 operator. Absolutely great question. And you know where I was? I swear to God, you guys. I was on a road. I was off the off-ramp of one of the most difficult set of road names, even when you're sober and you are straight-laced and you are just speaking English clearly. Burley Olala. I'm at the Burley Olala off-ramp. I had to try to enunciate Burley Olala with the thickest tongue. Pardon my French. Burley Olala. She understood me, thank God, but it was so, it was just a joke to try Burley Olala. And anyway, so I'm sorry. This isn't a funny situation, but that's any. This is funny, actually, in retrospect, now that I think about it. So they get the South Kitsap County Fire Department is on their way. By the time they get there, I can speak fine, and I get use of my hands back a little bit. And so they were asking me what's going on and blah, 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 blah. And so as I'm telling them what's going on, and I'm like, I was having trouble. I was like, I can speak now. But before, when I called, I was having trouble. And this, I was explaining how like I was much worse just a second ago, which is why I called. But then in the middle of me explaining it to them, suddenly, boom. Okay, well, backtrack a little. So an ambulance and a fire truck came. So like 5 different firemen are around me. I'm only talking to one of them, but the other 4 are behind him listening to what I'm saying. So as I'm telling the one guy that I'm talking to, and all of them, what happened, and I'm speaking fine and I can whatever, all of a sudden I felt everything go bleh again, and I started to slur. And as soon as I started to slur, a murmur behind the main guy, did you see that? Yeah, I see her face just dropped. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, noticeable. Oh, blah, blah, blah. So it was clearly evident visually immediately. As soon as I felt it, they saw it happen in real time. And so then at that point, they're like, okay, can you sit at, I was still in the car. So they opened the door, like, can you sit? So I scooched myself out, and they're like, okay, can you stand up to get onto the gurney? And I was like, I can try. But at that point, my whole left side just completely gave up. And so they had to, all 5 of them had to hoist my big old body onto the gurney. And so then I got into the ambulance, and then I got better again. And so we get to the hospital. Virtually the first 24 hours, basically, or at least 12 hours of being in the hospital, every doctor and nurse and attending whoever they witnessed my, like, oh yeah, I'm totally good right now. They all got to see it. And consequently, because I kept going in and out of it, I had 4 CT scans and 2 CAT scans. They were hoping to find whatever they were looking for. They were hoping to see it in action while it was happening. But they never could catch anything on the scans. Now I have a question for those of you who might know. Is the difference between a CT scan and a CAT, a CAT scan? The CAT scan is when they do the dye, to the contrast dye, right? And then the CT is without the contrast dye. I'm only asking because I got the contrast dye twice, but I got the scans 4 times, and I've been billed for 4 CT scans and 2 CAT scans, so I'm sort of just like trying to put it all together. So does anyone know if it's a CAT scan is the one where you get the contrast dye, and the CT scan is not? Did they have to drink the liquid dye? No, Michi Mama, I didn't drink it at all. They injected it. In fact, once I was admitted to the hospital for like the first 12 hours, I wasn't allowed to drink anything. They were afraid that I wouldn't be able to swallow, and I would aspirate. So CT scans and CAT scans are the same medical imaging procedure. The terms are used interchangeably to describe in diagnostic terms that uses X-ray. No. See, Honda, hey, good to see you. No, that is not true, Terry. Let's see here. I've got, oh no, I can't, that's not, let's see. No, that's not altogether true. They are referenced on my paperwork as 2 different things. One of them is a CT scan, and one of them is a CT/CAT scan. And they are 2 separate things. In fact, also, I know they're 2 separate things. The A is an additional, they use the same machine. Absolutely, they use the same machine. But when the second time, or maybe the third time, no, the second time I got the CT scan, I remember the nurse saying, hey, we want to come down to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then the doctor said, add the A as well. I want an A as well. So the CAT scan is different than the CT scan. Somehow it's like the CT is the base, but the A is like an add-on. And so I got that add-on twice. And The CAT, the CAT scans make you cough up a hairball. Exactly. No, but the what I presume is the CAT scan, and what I can tell you is the scans with the image, with the where they inject you with the imagery dye, it makes you feel like you peed your pants. You get really, really warm, and then suddenly you feel like you peed your pants. Now, you don't, but it does. And they even warned me the first time. They're like, you're going to get really warm, and then you're going to think you peed your pants. And it totally did. In fact, I almost asked afterwards. I was like, did I pee my pants? But then the sensation went away, and I was like, okay, I guess I didn't. And so, okay, so let's see here. Darlene says they are separate. The date one, I believe, the cat one, I think is what you're trying to say, is to try to find a blockage. Oh, no, wait. The CT one is to try to find a blockage. The dye one shows it more. Yeah, see, and I think, yeah, and because they did the CT at first, couldn't really find anything. And then the next time they did the dye, still couldn't find anything. And ultimately, by the end of the whole thing, they really couldn't find anything. And all the doctors were saying, in order to really see what happened, A stands for axial, CT equals cat. Well, on my paperwork, they're definitely referred to as two very distinct and separate things. And let's see here, Mr. and Mrs. Loha, I pee just to make them wrong. You know, we'll talk about that in a second, actually. So anyway, my point is, I got to go down into the CT scanning area multiple times because they were trying to catch it. They were trying to catch it in action, because I would get better, and then I'd get worse, and then I'd get better, and I'd get worse. And so, but at the end of the day, they said I was going to need an MRI to see really what was happening. I didn't end up getting an MRI. I have a neurology appointment next week. They might decide to do an MRI. I don't really know, and I don't really think it matters, because at the end of the day, my diagnosis is a stroke. I probably actually had the TIAs. I don't know what TIA stands for, but it's kind of like a mini stroke, I guess. But 6 of one, half a dozen other, they're basically treated the same way. So I personally, unless there's a medical necessity to getting the MRI, I'm not so sure I want to go get another bill just to find out if it was, you know, a mauve card or a blue card. You know, it's just like they're still just all sort of shades of purple. And so different for billing, because one used the dye, basically the same, but one with or without the dye. Yeah, and so I think it's the CAT is the one with the dye, on at least on my bill. Okay, on my bill, it's the one with the dye. How about that? And then let's see here. Yeah, so Terry coming in with, I got a CT scan, they did it without the dye, then they injected the dye, and it does make you feel like you peed yourself. It does, it's so pleasantly warm. But the thing is once the warmth dissipates, it just dissipates, and it doesn't turn into the coldness that peeing yourself inevitably results in. So anyway, I was submitted into the hospital after the first CT scan. They were like, well, we don't really know what's going on, but we do know this. You have a couple hours to decide whether or not you want to take this drug, TKN, or it's TNK. Honestly, I don't remember. I think it's TKN. And what that is, it's a incredibly powerful blood thinner. That they're like, if you're having a stroke due to a blockage, this blood thinner will break through the blockage and make everything will be good. It'll be good. You want to break the blockage. But if you don't take this drug, or see these words are hard. Okay, but if you don't have a blockage and this is due to a brain bleed, then we're just gonna make it better. I mean, see, this is where I'm talking about words are hard. It's gonna make it worse. In fact, it's gonna make it super bad. Like, we might end up killing you, kind of thing. There's a 3 to 6% chance that this isn't gonna work, and we're gonna make it worse by doing this. Now, that's a 97, 96% chance that we're going to make it better by doing this. But it's a 3 to 6% chance that you might die from this. So you've got like about 2 hours to decide whether or not you want to take this drug, by the way. And so, okay, you know, that was a lot to take. So I freaked out and I asked the nurses what I should do. And I guess they're not allowed to tell you. You've got to decide on your own. So I decided to take it because I figured, I still, hey, Eve Chenois, good to see you. I don't know why or how I chose to take it, but I chose to take it. Later on, one of the nurses that was in the room said to me, he's like, I'm really glad you chose to take it. And in retrospect, I'm really glad I chose to take it too. I think it was more of probably a blockage thing, and I'm guessing that maybe the reason why I kept having it was like the blockages was still, I don't know. I don't know enough about anything. All I know is slowly but surely over this 24-hour span, I kept having the episodes, but the episodes were less and less. Ultimately, was I awake when I had my stroke? Yeah, dude, I was driving. Yeah, for all of them, I was driving. Yeah, for all of them, I was awake. The first episode, I was driving, but every single other episode, I was definitely awake. And did I hear the Jeopardy music at any point during my decision process? No, but boy, that would have been appropriate. Oh, but speaking of, did I hear Jeopardy music yet? Y'all, for real, I wish I wish I was lying. Some of y'all might not have ever heard this wives' tale, and it is apparently a wives' tale. But smelling burning toast is something that happens before you die, before you get a stroke. Smelling burning toast is like, it's like, oh, you're gonna get, you smell burnt toast, huh? You're gonna get a stroke. For real, y'all. For 2 nights before I had my stroke, I was smelling burning toast. Not only was I smelling burning toast, I smelled it so much I got my ass out of bed to go and check my kitchen to see what might be on fire. So like for real, I did. Verity, absolutely, I smelled the burnt toast. I did. I really, it got my ass out. Yeah. And I even checked my toaster, and it's just like, I don't even have bread in my house to toast in a toaster. I haven't used my toaster in years. But I thought, well, I don't know, maybe a power surge, might have burnt the 30-year-old crumbs in the bottom of the toaster. I don't know. And so let's see here. The primary difference in the underlying mechanism, ischemic strokes are caused by a blockage, usually a blood clot that cuts off below, whereas hemorrhagic are ruptured blood vessels. Exactly. So when you have I don't like talking about blood, but basically if you already had a ruptured blood vessel and you put a bunch of steroided blood thinners in your blood, you're going to end up with a huge brain bleed. It's going to be a problem. Whereas the blood clot, which is what I obviously had, will be broken up and things will be happier. And so over the next 24 hours, things did get happier. But throughout the entire thing, I was always able, once I was able to lift my hands and my stuff, I was always able to grip. Because, okay, so one of the tests, if you're having one of the tests that they tested me over and over and over again was, can you lift your arm or your left leg, in my case as well? And then if you can you squeeze? Can you push up? Can you pull forward, or can you push back? And they have a similar test of up, down, push, pull for your feet too. I was always able to squeeze and pull and push, both with my arms and with my leg. But what I couldn't do was lifting when I was having the recurring stuff. The arm lifting was the last one to was the hardest one for me to get over. When the symptoms would reoccur, it was always in my arm not being able to lift it or being able to control. My hand would just maybe want to clench. And that was another thing that I, if I had heard Jeopardy music, I would have been billed like copyright fee by the hospital. They miss nothing. You're totally right, dude. Yeah, so another thing, when I was in the throes of the symptomology, at its worst, not only was I unable to lift my leg or my arm, it would actually cramp up and spasm it would just curl a spasm. I would just cramp up and just be unable to, oh, it was incredibly uncomfortable. Now, once again, I didn't have the headache that is oftentimes associated with a stroke, so it wasn't painful in the head, but there was just so much that was really painful. And the next few days, even after that symptomology went away, my muscles were sore from the cramping. You know how when you get a really, 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 really bad cramp, like sometimes even though the cramp is gone, you still feel like you worked that muscle out a lot. Yeah, I had that for a little bit, and so basically though, the weakness in my left hand side and the gravity, it felt like there was just 10 times worth of gravity holding my leg and my arms down. That was a real heaviness. And that reminds me, actually, the night before my stroke, the night before the Tumua show, I felt that heaviness in my body. Just briefly, it came through, maybe a 3-minute real, like, oh my God, my limbs feel really heavy, especially the left-hand side. I wrote that off, and I went to bed. In retrospect, probably a bad idea, because had I had a stroke in the middle while I was sleeping, like Michael Anthony Smith was saying that his strokes oftentimes came when he was asleep, that's really dangerous, because you don't necessarily know that you had one until you wake up unable to move. And at that time, it becomes too late to take the TKN, to take that blood thinner, because you've only got like a from what I was told at the hospital, you've only got like a 4.5 hour window between the time that the symptoms, the onset of the symptoms, and when you should have the medicine. That's why when they were telling me, you've got 2 hours to decide this, it wasn't because they wanted to put pressure on me. It was literally like, no, this medicine, if we wait longer than that 4 hour window, this medicine's not going to work. And so you have a certain amount of time that you have to take it in before it's going to work. But it lasts in your system 24 hours. And within the 24-hour time period, I had to be bedridden at all times, because any type of fall might create an internal bleed. And God help me if it was on the brain that they didn't want to have to deal with. And so I was bedridden for 24 hours, which means I had to pee in the bed. So I think it was Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday who was like, you should have peed just to prove I'm wrong. Dude, do you know how hard it is to pee your bed when you've had a lifetime of physical, mental coordination and training not to do that? I can't tell you how much energy I spent trying to pee the bed when I was supposed to be peeing the bed. Now, when I say pee the bed, I actually don't mean I peed the bed. Well, I did once, but that wasn't my fault. For women, so for men, there's catheters, external or internal, which is great, but I'm not a dude. And so instead of having to catheterize women, there's this new, I don't know how new this technology is, but it's somewhat new, I think. It's this technology, and it's called a sanitary wick, basically, I guess. And it's about like, this big, like that was a bad choice of object. Let's see. Oh, here we go. It's about as big as like the top of this stapler, It's sort of that big and sort of like that shape as well. And so, yeah, pretend like, okay, we've got the handle. I'm not talking about the handle. I'm talking about this. Pretend this is rubber. And then this is sort of a cottony fabric thing. And that cottony fabric thing covers a suction device. And so this is inserted between the legs, and it's attached to some hoses. And so basically you just get to let her rip. You just pee into that device and it sucks it away. And I'll tell you what, dude, it really worked beautifully. Like when your body finally lets itself go, it works beautifully. Except for one time. One time mine didn't work and I did end up peeing the bed, but that wasn't my fault. It literally was faulty equipment. Okay, it wasn't me. It's faulty equipment. But a Saniwick is for women. So like there's no catheter. It's all external. It's really like it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful invention. And you can also actually get them for use at home. So I'm telling this to any woman who has incontinence during the night, or knows any woman who has incontinence during the night, or perhaps is caring for an elderly woman who has incontinence during the night. You can actually buy these for your home use and use them while you sleep. And it creates a much more sanitary environment. You don't have to change sheets. You don't have to, it's just, honestly, dude, these Saniwicks are flirpin' awesome. Yeah, it's a tiny bit curved and it goes down below and suck up any moisture. It's also used for incontinence control too, says Darlene. Right, totally. It is, yes, Terry, it sounds far superior to a catheter. Absolutely. Catheters do not seem, external or internal, especially internal, do not seem like pleasant things. And Verity, no, I'm not taking heparin. I'm just actually taking baby Tylenol right now. They do have me on blood thinners. It's just a baby Tylenol right now. And they also have me on some sort of statin. I think it's levostatin or something. Here, I'll tell you. No, that's not it. Hold on, I gotta go through the bottles. I got a lot. Nope, that's not it either. Hold on. Here we go. It is. Oh, so what? I'm on Lipitor. It's atorvastatin. I'm on Lipitor. I'm on a brand name drug. I'm on a drug you see on TV. I'm on Lipitor. So I'm on a statin and the baby aspirin, but other than that, they haven't added any other medicines to my regimen. Let's see here. Derby Startup, I have a special talent in making us laugh at morbid topics. Perfect, good, because this is, this is really important. We're all getting a little bit older. In fact, before this whole stroke situation happened, I was so proud to report that I have a cataract in my eye that is so bad that it is actually ready for surgery. I was kind of excited about that. So now that I've got cataracts and a stroke, I feel like I'm really cashing in my wisdom card. And and let's see here. Yeah, so Michael Anthony Smith is on that, and Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday are also on Lipitor users. So I have a feeling, I know that there's a lot of controversial research about who should or shouldn't be on statins, and statins kind of have some high risk effects, but honestly, I don't really want to be on it, but I looked it up, and it looks like there are groups of people that may or may not have to be on statins that currently are, but I'm in a group who doctors pretty much universally agree needs to be on a statin for probably the rest of their life, so I'm not going to be planning on getting off of Lipitor anytime soon. And let's see here. So Lipitor is a statin medication used to prevent cardiovascular disease in those at high risk to treat abnormal lipid levels. For the prevention of cardiovascular disease, statins are a first-line treatment in reducing cholesterol. It is taken by mouth. Exactly. And Mama Sean, I can't take statins, so I have to take shots. A rare reaction is severe back pain, just so you know. Good to know, Mama Sean. And then roughly 35% of Americans are on statins. Yeah, and see, that's where I raise an eyebrow. That's where I'm like, okay, pharmaceutical company, what have you done to make your drugs so, quote unquote, necessary? I feel like, cause I'm just follow the money, y'all, and I really am cynical about overprescription of certain medicines, and statins are on that list. And there are doctors out there who actually are of my mindset as well. I'm not trying to be anti-medical, and I'm certainly not telling any of you to get off your meds, but statins do have a tendency to be slightly overprescribed, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't one of them. But turns out, universally speaking pretty much, and very rarely do doctors universally agree on everything, they agree that former stroke patients, stroke survivors, yeah, they need to be on them. So, all right, here we go. Gonna be on it. And by the way, Terry in Scotland, about 1 million minutes ago, you donated 1,000 biddies. I really want to thank you for that. I was busy in the middle of blah, 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 and I didn't say thank you. And by the way, I know that I'm not reading most of you guys' comments. Just sort of focusing on telling the story right now. And also, wow, hey, I've noticed a new symptom. Reading your stuff is definitely a little bit more difficult than it used to be, or else maybe I'm just out of practice for a week or whatever. But yeah, all right, it's taken a little longer for me to comprehend what I'm reading on the screen than it usually used to. But Darlene says plenty of meds now and monitoring. Be careful with baby aspirin. Take on a full stomach. Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that. No one told me that. I was on baby aspirin and they took me off because it wrecked my stomach lining, and because I haven't had a stroke, heart attack, any cardiac surgery like stents and severe blockages, and my tummy is doing much better. Okay, you know what, Darlene? That's super good to know, because I have a certain amount of drugs that have to be taken on an empty stomach, and it just so happens that the baby aspirin is like roughly the same size as those, and then I've got 2 really big pills that doesn't matter when I take them. And so I've just been taking the baby aspirin with the other little pills that need to be on an empty stomach. So I'm going to, see, little spacey. I'm going to put the baby aspirin in with the big boys. So I'll take it later in the day when I've got some food in the belly. So, let's see here. Okay, cool. You were on statins for a while back, says Pocola T. Have lower blood pressure now, so no longer need them. Nice. And let's see here. Michael Anthony Smith. No need. It is 9 o'clock in your neck of the woods, so by all means, go to sleep. I know that when sleep calls, since coming home from the hospital, sleep comes quick, sleep comes fast, sleep comes hard. Doesn't necessarily come at the same time every night, but when I need to go, it's like a punch in the face. Like, you need to go lay down now. So have yourself a good, sweet, dreamy night. Hopefully you'll get a good sleep like you did just the other night. And, oh, Kylo, I love you too, little ear scritches. Puzzy, can you give Kylo some ear scritches? And let's see here. They're in cahoots with McDonald's. Yeah, I kind of honestly feel like they might be sometimes. The drug companies, I'm assuming, is what you were talking about. And, and so, yeah, so, Michael, yeah, you could, yeah, send me an email when you got time. Send it tomorrow if you need to, because you need to go night-night. You need to go moi. Okay, so Tom is a turtle coming in. If I'm taking enteric-coated aspirin, those are designed to pass through the stomach and break down in the more alkaline environment of the small intestine. I don't know. This one's a chewable. So, Thomas, I don't know. How do I know if it's coated? Yeah, I know this is really, really enticing. Yeah, I can't, I can't find out if it's coded or how do I find out if it's coded or not? I couldn't see that it said, but that doesn't mean. Oh, EC aspirin are not chewed. Okay, then these are chewable. So okay, there we go. Pussycat, no, I actually. Funny you should ask. Did you get my email about the dead tree in my yard? No, I didn't. I actually haven't checked my email this entire week. I haven't checked my work email. I haven't checked my personal emails. I haven't checked my Mad Statter email. I've been doing I've been doing a whole lot of nothing. And see Honda. Okay, cool, Pussycat. There's pictures. Excellent, because honestly, Pacola T sent me pictures, and Marilyn McQueen sent me pictures, and you obviously sent me some, and I meant to download them, but next show will be the photo albums from all y'all, because a lot has gone down, and it's summertime, and there's pictures and stuff for everybody, because everybody's doing stuff. And let's see here. C Honda coming in with the $1 million question. Just a week or so ago, you mentioned a family palsy that you inherited from your dad. Did that happen during your stroke? Absolutely, C Honda. So I kind of feel like. All right. So truly, my sister has it. My dad has it. I have it. It's just a natural drooping of one side of our face. In pictures, when we're like relaxed, not smiling or anything, you can kind of, if you know what you're looking for, you can see like, oh, yep, that half of the face is a little bit droopy. I refer to it as the Davis palsy. My last name is Davis. My dad's last name, Big Shock Davis. My sister, her last name, Davis. I refer to it as the Davis palsy. My mom did not have this feature to her face. And I make fun of the Davis palsy. I make fun of the Davis palsy all the time. In pictures of myself, pictures of my sister. It's whatever. I feel like this is a little bit of punishment for making fun of our palsy. Because indeedly do. The universe said, palsy? Oh, you want a palsy? Okay. You rung the palsy bell a little too often. Yeah, so I got myself, I definitely, I had the droop during the episodes. But luckily, I've kind of recovered, I think. I mean, you tell me. I'm not, so, but yeah, I had to laugh. I was actually laughing to myself while I was in the hospital because I couldn't help but laugh at the irony of like, yep, that's what you get for making fun of a palsy. You get a palsy. So, your wife had Bell's palsy. Right, exactly. It's not, I mean, it's, first off, whenever I made fun of the Davis palsy, it really wasn't making fun of anybody with Bell's palsy. It was just making fun of our family's funny face. I really hope that people understand that. First off, I'm not making fun of people with that condition. Especially now I'm not. I've learned my lesson, okay? So I promise. And Terry, awesome. Full fiber internet 6 hours from now, so you hope to be screaming again tomorrow night. Sweet. Awesome. That'll be good. And let's see here. Mrs. A says you've been through a trauma, but your hair doesn't look like it. Yes, I have been through a trauma, and that's it's funny. C Honda. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, good. So it's at least not lopsided today. And Pussycat, you still have headaches? I'll tell you what, dude, I am not a headache person, but I have had more. They're just little headaches, and they're not lasting very long, but yeah, since last Sunday, headaches have been, they're not super painful. I've already looked up and talked to medical providers about these little headaches. These little headaches are totally to be expected, given what happened to my brain. Now, apparently, if I ever get super sudden onset, worst headache I've ever felt in my life, then I need to call 911. But just a little like, burp-a-dur, it's like, oh, I'm a headache that's existing a little bit. Oh, well, now I'm a headache that's existing a little bit. And, you know, those aren't that big of a deal. And Terry, thank you. That's very sweet. That is very sweet. But speaking of trauma, yeah, this really was traumatic. And I have to say the first day back, so I got out of the hospital on Wednesday, went home, slept. Actually, that's not true. I got out of the hospital on Wednesday. I went to work. I went to work first thing. That was the first place I went. And I ran payroll. And, so don't think I went above and beyond duty. I needed to get paid. I had a mortgage payment. And so I went to work, wrote out some paychecks, got home, fell asleep. The next day when I woke up, I couldn't stop crying. No reason. Everything just sent me into tears because it's emotional. It is trauma. And, they have actually, as part of the leaving the hospital package for stroke patients, they have mental health referrals for the trauma that you've been through. And so I will actually be going to a therapist for this, among other issues. I have some other traumatic issues that I have to, that became very clear when I was in the hospital that I needed to deal with. So, I will eventually open up to what those traumatic issues are when I'm telling the story about why I don't want to look at my neighbor. But that's a story for a different day. And yeah, Mama Sean, make sure my blood pressure stays well regulated. Yeah, luckily, I already was on a blood pressure medicine, hydrochlorothiazide. Oh yeah, y'all, you want to try? Okay, so here we go. Hydrochlorothiazide. Yeah, when I was in the car and the fire department was asking me what medicines I take, once again, I'm in the middle of a flippin' blah, 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 blah. Try and say hydrochlorothiazide with half your mouth numb and your tongue as thick as your foot. Hydrochlorothiazide. Oh my God, did I say that, Picola T? Total Freudian slip. I have Trump issues instead of trauma issues. I truly meant to say trauma. I really did, y'all. And you've been on disability since you were 22 because of pancreatitis and diverticulitis. It's not fun. No, it is not. And that's another thing. Hey, Andre, good to see you. That was another thing. So Monday came around and they, oh, that's a good idea, Mama Sean, keeping a list of meds in my bag. Well, see, well, okay, yeah, that's a good idea, Mama Sean, but that actually probably wouldn't have helped me because I didn't take my purse to the event. I downsized, so I just had my wallet and my cell phone with me, and because my wallet and my keys hooked together, and I was traveling light, so I probably wouldn't have even had that on hand. Although, maybe I should have a list of it on my phone. Here we go. Now we're thinking. So yeah, hydrochlorothiazide, that was a tough one to say. But they kind of figured out what I was talking about. And, and so, let's see here. Okay, that's, sorry, got a little bit distracted. Okay, yeah, right, I remember. So Monday, I'm getting a little bit better. Physical therapy comes in and tries and sees how well I can walk. I can walk just with the help of the walker easy, but because I had a couple steps to get into my house, they wanted to make sure that I could go upstairs. But by the time physical therapist got me to the stairway, I was really tired, so I couldn't make it up the stairs. I didn't even want to try. So after that, then, I don't know, later that day, the social worker comes in and starts talking to me about what my discharge options are. And they made it pretty clear that I wasn't going to go home. I was going to go to either a nursing home or an intensive rehab facility. And so I needed to decide what I wanted to do, go to a nursing home or an intensive rehab facility where I would be rehabbed like 3 hours a day by physical therapists, blah, 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 blah. And that's when I got terrified. Like, that's when true anxiety and realization of awfulness came crashing down on me. Consequently, because of that conversation, it actually sent me, my blood pressure went up, and it sent me into another spasming awfulness. As it turns out, the social worker was wrong. I did, and luckily I didn't have to make the choice that day, because because I wasn't being released that day. But it lit a fire under my butt, and it was just like, there's no way I'm not going home. And so by the next day, when physical therapy came around, I was like, show me the stairs, because the nurses made it clear that, like, if I can make it up the stairs, there's a really good chance I'm going to go home. And so it was just like, I am gonna bring me to the stairs, my chariot. Of course, I was my own chariot that day. And Andre, thank you so much for all of those subs. And wait, we're on a, how did we, who, what? Thank you. Wow. Thank you for the subs and we're level trained. We're a level train gift too. So we're a level train gift too. Yeah, you thought my brain was working weird before. We're at a level 2 hype train, y'all. Andre coming down with biddies upon biddies. Whew. Anyway, thank you so much, Andre. That's very sweet of you. Even if I can't say it. And, yeah, exactly, Darlene. They say try to stay calm, not to get too upset, but, because it makes things much worse. It absolutely does, but, oops, there goes my phone. But, how can you not have sort of a semi-panic attack with the news of, like, you're not going to go home? Because then I'm thinking, like, who's going to take care of my cats and everything? And, but anyway, so come Tuesday, I went up the stairs with no problem, flying colors. I went up more stairs than I had to. And so luckily I, showed them wrong. But really, it is, I can't say that it was necessarily all my willpower. It was truly just how my recovery goes, which is why I'm pretty sure, right, yeah, or maybe it was that social worker's way to determine if you were motivated. Cola T, if that was the case, they played me like a fiddle, and that is fine. Terry and Scotland, oh my God, thank you so much for the other 1,000 biddies. Yeah, they might have, and that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I wanted to go home. I didn't want to go anyplace but home. And so Wednesday I was able to go home. By the time Monday evening came around, I was allowed to go to the bathroom by myself and get out of the bed without supervision. By the time Tuesday came around, it was pretty clear I was strong enough to be discharged soon. They were going to put me into the general population, but then they decided not to, which the head nurse was a little confused about that, because I was in the ICU this whole time. And so the head nurse in the ICU was kind of confused about why they didn't put me into general population. But I had a feeling that the reason why they didn't was because they knew that I was going to get out the next day. And so why dirty a room that's going to be in less than 12 hours empty kind of thing? That was what I was hoping. And it turns out I think I was right, because I was discharged that very next day. And let's see here. I would have told off PT before as well and told the hospital I was just going home. Well, Mama Sean, honestly, I needed to make sure I could walk the stairs before I did that. But you are correct. I probably would have done that as well, because do I need to explain to you why? If you've hung around here a minute, you know why. Yeah. And yes, exactly. Darlene, again, keep alert as you're recovering. Yes, still follow my gut. If you're suspecting anything not going well, don't wait it out. Yeah, Darlene, Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday, thank you so much for those 1,000 biddies. Um, it, what I'm almost worried about now is I'm over paying attention. All these little spacey mistakes that I'm making, it's like, I do wonder, it's like, well, did I make those spacey mistakes before, but I just didn't pay attention to them because, like, haha, that was a silly thing, but you didn't really notice it, or like, oh, track it, because you didn't have a reason to track it. So I'm very much keeping track of, like, oh, I didn't mean to push that button on my laundry machine. I meant to put the other button or whatever. I don't know. I just, I have been paying attention to my everything's basically. But I did on Monday night, I did watch Jeopardy in the hospital because I don't have TV at home, so it was kind of neat at the hospital. I was able to binge watch my Food Network shows. If there's any channel I miss by not having a TV, I swear to you, it is Food Network. So I got to binge watch some Food Network, but I also got to watch Jeopardy, and I was very happy that I knew what I knew. Like I wasn't quite as quick, but I knew the answers, about as many answers as I would have known had I not had a stroke. There was nothing there that I was like, oh, I'm reaching. I either knew it or I didn't. It wasn't a case of, oh, I know I used to know that. So I was pretty happy with that. And whoa, level train 4 hype train. Wow, you guys, level train 4 hype train. Whatever, y'all. Level 4 hype train. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, I probably should start journaling. Right now I am, I'm not really journaling, but I am keeping track of, like, one of the things I've been told is hydration is extremely important. And so I've been keeping a track of all of the liquids that I've been drinking. And so, like, for every, glass of water I have, I probably should start just journaling. I should get, rather than using random pieces of paper like I'm using right now, I should probably get a legitimate day journal and keep track of things and stuff. But I haven't yet. Let's say Andre. And Andre, by the way, thank you so much for these continuing 200 and 500 biddies that you just did. But Andre says, I had a seizure when I was 11, and every time I got a weird feeling in my head, I got really nervous. Never had another one, but make me nervous to this day. Right? Yeah, exactly. And I just wonder if I'm being, like, over cognizant of stuff, but that's okay. I'm happy to be over cognizant of stuff. And Mama Sean, you keep a list of your blood pressure along with how you're feeling at the time. That's a good plan. I do. I have a home blood pressure monitor cuff. Don't know where it is at the moment, but I do have one. So I should probably go, like, find that. But yeah, exactly. I'm hyper aware, and I'm just wondering if, like, if that's really a good plan. And Thomas the Turtle, thank you so much for resubscribing for 6 months in advance. Holy 40 flippin' flirpin' flirp. Thank you so much, Thomas. That's awesome. And let's see here. Yep, Pussycat, that's exactly it. It's not my time yet. But what it is it's a real warning sign, because I'm gonna be the first to admit I don't take the best care of myself. I'm very sedentary. Very sedentary. I smoke weed. I drink beer. I'm very sedentary. And not gonna lie, on Monday I had a voice in my head, because everybody's really hard on themselves. The voice in my head kept repeating over and over and over and over again, this is what you get when you don't take care of yourself. This is what you get when you don't take care of yourself. This is what you get. This is what you get when you don't take care of yourself. And I know that that's not a good way to be thinking, and I've since ish let that go. But it's time for changes, and changes are slowly happening. Once, first change, lots and lots of lots and lots of waters in my life these days. I haven't had a drink for 7 days. It's really not that big of a deal. Really not that big of a deal not to be drinking. Which actually brings me to another kind of annoying topic for me. I don't know. I mean, I get why they're doing this. More walks to Waku. Yeah, exactly. More walks, actually, just in general. But one thing that made me kind of roll my eyes and laugh was when I was in the hospital, a million nurses and social workers and counselors and they all ask the same questions. It's like, how, do you drink? Yes. How much do you drink? About 4 to 5 beers. How often? Every day, I say. They freak out, dude. They seriously thought that I was going to go into alcohol withdrawal without my 4 to 5 beers every day. Now, I appreciate the concern, my friends, but the beer that I drink is Pabst Blue Ribbon. It is 4.7% alcohol. 4.7 alcohol by volume. A 12-ounce drink has 4.7% of alcohol. One shot of liquor has 40% alcohol. Some beers have 11% alcohol. Wines have 12 to 26% alcohol. The alcohol that I am drinking, the serving of alcohol that I'm drinking in every drink is about as low of alcohol intake as you can get. My 4 beers is the equivalent of the alcohol intake of 1 shot of whiskey. Only my 4 beers of alcohol are being drank over probably 3 to 4 hours, as opposed to 1 gulp. I don't understand why they don't bother asking, what kind of alcohol do you drink? Their metric for judging alcohol abuse disorder is very flawed. Their data collection is not proper or scientific. I am a big person. I am a very big person drinking a very mild beer. I am not a 110-pound woman downing a 26% glass of wine. I'm not. I understand that alcoholism is a huge problem, and I understand that going through the DTs is a huge problem. My dad drank so much that when he was in hospice, it was absolutely in his care plan to give him booze every day so he wouldn't go through the DTs. I get it. But seriously, 4.7% alcohol beer is not the same thing. It's not the same thing as a 100 proof shot of whiskey, and so I am absolutely not dissing the efforts that they're putting into these questions, but they're not really asking the right questions, in my opinion. And Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday, Pabst sounds like a ripoff. What are you thinking? What I'm thinking, Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday, is I drink really fast. And so I don't want to be downing a strong drink. I want to be downing the weakest drink possible. So I don't get out of control drunk. Like, that's sort of the whole point. I don't want to get wasted. If I drink 2 beers in an hour, it's not going to put anybody in danger. It's not going to put me on my lips. I'm going to be able to walk. Easy peasy. And yeah, exactly, Andre. It's assumed, being from the Pacific Northwest, that you're drinking high octane craft beer. Precisely. And I'm not. I'm drinking the lowest octane beer you can possibly find. And so, and right, exactly. And Darlene, right, you're a total lightweight when it comes to drinking. It doesn't take much for you. You don't drink regularly, right? And yeah, you witnessed my PBR consumption at the Waku. It's slow during game shows. Exactly. And that's when I go to the Waku, is to watch the game shows. And so, because Waku has a television. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Waku is my bar. It's the Chinese food restaurant that is close to my... It's the closest restaurant and, well, maybe not the closest restaurant. It's one of the closest restaurants and definitely closest bar to my house. Old school Chinese food joint. It's open since 1952. It's like nothing has changed. They've not once changed the decor. So it's like walking back in flipping time. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But yeah, I did have to kind of laugh at their overzealous concern over my alcohol consumption and whether or not I was going to go through alcohol withdrawals because of Pabst Blue Ribbon. 4.7%, baby. It's really not that high octane. In fact, in Russia, little kids used to be able to buy that kind of alcohol. Not anymore, I don't think, but as long as it was under 10%, it was considered alcohol free. And yeah, you know, since I haven't been drinking, I have been cooking a lot, actually, and my kitchen is cleaner than it's ever been. And let's see here, Terry in Scotland. I used to drink a sixer of Bud Tall Boys every night. I don't drink much at all now. I drink fast too, and I always wonder why I bothered buying that stuff. Well, you know, because it's something to do. It's something, I don't know. I do plan on, in fact, actually, I'm going to go to the bar tonight. I'm not going to have any alcohol. I have alcohol in the house if I wanted, but, and Andre, I'd never drunk a PBR until I visited you at the Waku. Man, it was way mild. I call it water beer for a reason. You can drink it like water. It tastes like water. There's nothing to it. It's a beautiful, simple beverage. If you're going for a beer, yeah, Pabst is the last thing you want. But if you just want to drink some fuzzy sort of beer and drink it like water, that's right up your alley, my friends. Yeah, but it's not going to throw very many people. I mean, if you're drinking like 24 a day, then okay, fine. Be concerned about the alcohol consumption. But that's not even close to what. Well, yeah, you're going to have to find another way to hydrate. Yeah, absolutely, Puzzy, because honestly, it's funny, very funny you should say that, because my first day home from the hospital, I actually couldn't believe how much water I had to drink in order to keep my urine from turning dark. And I was like, this has never been such a struggle before. And then I realized, well, yeah, that's because you've been drinking, like, your beer is actually contributing to your water intake. And now that you're not drinking your beers, you actually need to substitute it with real life water. And Mrs. A has no tolerance to alcohol. Now she knows what she can sip on. Oh yeah, for real, dude. Pabst Blue Ribbon. You could probably sip on it, and you know, it's because, as Terry says so eloquently, PBR is like making love in a canoe, because it's the closest thing to water. And Darlene, oh my goodness. No, I can't even imagine how difficult that task would be in a canoe. I mean, die or have fun, you know, have fun or die trying. Hope you're having fun or die trying. Exactly. You think you got 2 PBR and sweet and sour pork at the Waku was great. Yeah, exactly. Waku, by the way, has the best sweet and sour sauce. Andre even comes up just for it, and he lives near Chinatown in San Francisco. Yeah, Puzzycat, I've always drank 2 cups of coffee, and I still can. Stroke people are allowed the coffee, so the coffee is no problem. But you aren't supposed to be drinking, and so I'm not going to be drinking. However, I will be going to the bar tonight just to see people, hang out with people, and I'll be getting some iced tea, probably. And hammocks, also not easy. Yes, also, I bet, totally. That one. Darlene and Rickfoot know how to have fun in the woods. All right, you guys. So I want to thank you for hanging out tonight. And even though we completely skipped it, we aren't going to not have one. So I am going to end this out with our Lono listening break, and then we'll be back to wrap some things up. So here we go. We've got ourselves some Lono.
Fight the fight for what is truth as we seek the light. People gather on this land. You can hear the holy and hear the chants. New holy, 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 holy. Yeah, yeah. Done before, and in our prayers we pray for more. God is love and good for you. Write love on a list of things to do. Write love. Yeah, yeah. Wake up in church, spend all day in church, and at the setting sun we go to sleep in church. They say it's a Hawaiian thing. Love Molokai is why we sing. Love Molokai. Yeah, yeah. Just some things that need to be said from the heart, dancing in the head. And if you've heard it, you will benefit. And I thank you for your time, my friend. Ahui ho, 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 ho. Yeah, yeah.
All right, there we have it. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out today. And I wanted to respond to something, but I don't remember what. So I guess I'm not going to respond to it. Let's see here. Hold on if I can find it. Oh, I had something that I wanted to respond to. Yes, once again, quality TV. Quality TV. Let's see here. Oh, Goodness gracious. Well, all I know is I am very glad. Oh, I remember what I was going to say is I'm very glad. I'm glad that you're glad to see me, whoever it was that said that, but I'm very glad to see all of you here. And what I would really love, hopefully someone who knows, we can talk about this maybe next stream or whatever. And if he is in the background watching, Andy Bumatai, we miss you. We want to see you when you can. When you feel like doing a quick live stream, Andy Bumatai, I think we'd all be there for ya. All right, so on Wednesday, 5 p.m. West Coast time, in theory, we should be here. I guess, you can't promise everything day to day, take it day by day, but yeah, in theory on Wednesday, that's the plan, 5 p.m. West Coast time. More chatter with Statter. Hopefully I'll have all the pictures that people have sent me, and I've got a bunch of other stuff that I wanted to talk about from last week and other stuff. And I want to talk about these stupid things. These, if you don't know what they are, you will, sort of. All right, so thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for subscribing and gift subscribing. Thank you so much for the hype trains, the biddies, the more biddies. No, not the more biddies. That sounds morbid. But you know what I mean. Anyway, super glad that we had this time together, and super stoked that we might have more time together, because as Puzzy Scott just pointed out, life is short. All right, take care, y'all.